Hi, thank you all for joining us today for this important conversation. My name is Janessa Goldbeck. I'm the CEO of Vet Voice Foundation and a Marine Corps veteran. And I'm honored to be here today alongside Congressman Ruiz to discuss a topic that's deeply personal and impactful to veterans and military families, our public lands. For many of us who have served, access to public lands is more than just a recreational opportunity. These lands offer a place for healing, for community, and for reconnecting with a sense of purpose. So whether it's hiking, hunting, or simply spending time outdoors, public lands provide vital spaces where veterans and their families can come together, recharge, and heal from the unique challenges of military life. At Vet Voice Foundation, we're committed to ensuring that these lands remain protected and accessible for generations to come. So today we'll be exploring the critical role they play in supporting the health and well-being of our nation's veterans and the ongoing efforts to safeguard these natural resources. I'm excited to have this conversation with Congressman Dr. Raul Ruiz, a leader and advocate for our public lands and for those who have worn the uniform. Congressman Ruiz is a dedicated public servant and physician who represents California's 25th district. He's a strong advocate for veterans, military families, and underserved communities. He's worked tirelessly to improve healthcare access, protect public lands, and ensure the well-being of those who have served. As both a member of Congress and an emergency room physician, he brings a unique perspective to addressing the needs of veterans. And he's been a vocal leader in advancing policies that support public health, environmental conservation, and veteran services across the nation. Congressman, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you to everyone tuning in. Let's get started. So my first question, well, first of all, hello, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Janessa.
It looks like you're calling in from your district office.
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Well, we're so pleased to have you here with us today and appreciate your time. The first question for you is, what is the proposed Chuckwalla National Monument and why are you leading the effort to see this designation happen?
Well, thank you for that question. The Chuckwalla National Monument is an effort to protect over 627,000 acres of land that have animals and plants endemic to the area that would also designate federal. It also has animals that are in the federal protection species list, like the bighorn sheep and the desert tortoises. The area also has land of spiritual significance to tribes who really are a big part of this effort because they realize that protecting the sacred sites is of vital cultural preservation importance for them. So it's an incredible effort to really protect a vast amount of land. In fact, it would be the 5th largest land-based national monument in the United States. So we're very excited about this designation.
That's great, and I should have asked you at the top of it, but could you tell us a little bit about the 25th district and kind of what makes it unique and why this landscape is so important?
Well, I represent California's 25th district. It is the southeast corner of California. So I share a border with Mexico. I have the entire Arizona border and about a third of the Nevada border in California. And it's pretty large. I think it's larger than the state of Delaware. And it has a lot of land base. And my district also produces the most renewable energy on federal land in the entire United States. So we're in the desert. We have lots of sun. Very rarely does it rain. We have in between 2 mountain ridges, we have a tunnel of wind for wind energy. We have space for geothermal energy near the Salton Sea area in Southern California in my district. And so The Chuckwalla National Monument encompasses a large portion of the eastern Riverside County and northern Imperial County. It's right south of the Joshua Tree National Park. And so I consider myself very lucky because I love hiking, I love camping, I love being in the outdoors. And I have the beautiful land that we're going to designate a national monument in the Chuckwalla National Monument. We have Joshua Tree National Park. We also have the Sand to Snow National Monuments in the area, and the San Jacinto National Monument. So all of these national monuments are around the Coachella Valley, and people know the Coachella Valley for two things. One, it has Palm Springs, a big tourism area in California, and it's also home of the Coachella Music Festival, which is in actually my district.
That's amazing. It's an incredibly diverse landscape, both in terms of industry and natural resources. There's also very rich military history associated with the landscape and the proposed national monument. Can you discuss that military history and how a national monument designation could help preserve it?
Yeah, it's little known, but well known for us locals that General George Patton trained over 1 million service members to fight in World War II. That's about 10% of all the service members who fought valiantly in World War II. And so there's a desert training center that he utilized. There's two camps. There's the Camp Coxcomb and the Camp Young, and it's about 18. I think they used 18,000 square miles. And so when you go out there, I mean, you can see some pretty awesome artifacts of. You can see some track tank tracks. You can see how the landscape was changed in order to perform those military exercises. And so we're just really proud of it. And in fact, there's a General George Patton little museum out there that has some of the World War II fighting equipment and supplies that were used during the trainings and were left behind. So it's pretty remarkable. And to think of that war and all the people that went through the desert in order to train in this rugged terrain to prepare them for North Africa. It was a very special place for our military and our country.
Yeah, I was actually out there on the landscape with a group of veterans earlier this year, and my grandfather. Oh, there's some footage of us right there. My grandfather served in World War II, and just to be out there and see the actual. In some places, you can see the roads that used to exist out there, the markers for the roads. We found a footstone of a building that had been poured for the war. There's remnants of old churches. So it's a really incredible place, both for its natural beauty, but also its historical relevance. And as somebody who trained in the Marine Corps right down the road in 29 Palms, it's amazing to think about how we're all kind of connected across the generations and how the land really underscores that.
Yeah.
So you're a medical doctor, and I've heard you speak about the role time and nature plays on our overall health. In fact, you've said that time and nature is something that as a congressman you support and as a doctor you prescribe. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been lots of studies now that all point to the health benefits of being outdoors. Now, we all know that just walking and hike is beneficial for our physical body. But what we don't really measure or think of is the sort of mental health aspects of being outdoor, being connected to our environment, to being connected to something so grand and bigger than ourselves. In fact, there's been some studies that take veterans who have PTSD. And when they look at veterans on medication, on therapy, and compare them to veterans who are on medication, therapy, and have routine visits to the outdoors, just being outdoors, either hiking or camping. Those that have the addition of being outdoors have better outcomes than those that don't. So there is a therapeutic effect of being outdoors. That's why I worked very hard to correct the loophole that now, because of the bill that I advocated for, veterans with any rating of disability can have free access to our national parks. And that was the main reason as a physician why I wanted to really ensure that our veterans had, especially those with any disability ratings, had the free access to national parks. Of course, there's the idea that veterans deserve it for their sacrifice, for their service, and in addition to that, there's the actual mental health benefits of being outdoors. And so I encourage all veterans that are involved with Vet Voices to really spend time outdoors. And if you're not near a national park or a national monument or some area that is really awe-inspiring, even being out in a park in your city or walking through gardens in your city has benefit.
Well, I want to say a personal note of thanks to you for that bill. My family, myself, and a lot of my friends have taken advantage of it and have gotten, increased access as a result. So I truly appreciate it. We work with veterans all across the country on a lot of different campaigns like this to preserve and protect public lands, and just to be able to hear from people the real world impact that it's had on their mental and physical health, to be able to go out and explore these wild places is really inspiring. And so thank you again for being a leader on that issue.
Thank you.
So what's next for this campaign? How can viewers out there help ensure that the Chuckwalla National Monument is designated?
Well, I think right now it's in the hands of the administration of President Biden. So no, I introduced a bill alongside Senator Alex Padilla that would designate the Chuckwalla National Monument through Congress, knowing, however, that in this Congress, with a Republican majority who actually want to downsize national monuments and give federal lands back to states or to private industries for more mining opportunities or logging opportunities and for profit, we knew that piece of legislation wasn't going to go through this Congress. So Senator Padilla, Butler, from those two senators from California, and I led a large California delegation letter to the president to use the Antiquities Act and proclaim the space as the Chuckwalla National Monument. And so they have gone through all the requirements within the Antiquities Act. They've done community forums. They've gotten feedback. The Secretary Holland from the Department of Interior has visited, has seen, walked the land. And so they are in internal conversations about the final proposal based on my piece of legislation and the agreements that we've all made for them to determine the final result of Chuckwalla National Monument. I'm hopeful. I'm not satisfied until I see it and I see the president with pen in hand and he signs the actual proclamation for Chuckwalla National Monument. So I'm not saying that it's a done deal. Until that happens, then it's going to be a done deal. But look, this is an incredible historical effort, and I'll tell you why. Oftentimes when we try to conserve and protect land, you have on one side the environmentalists, the conservationists, and tribes who are great stewards of the original stewards of these lands. And then you have the utilities, the renewable energy companies, and you have all these other private industries that are oftentimes butting heads. That didn't happen here. And one of the reasons is because we had already a framework of where we designated space for renewable energy, where we designated space for conservation, and space for recreation. And that was done throughout the years and solidified in the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan. And the late Senator Feinstein really took the lead in making sure everybody came to the table throughout the years and come up with an agreement. So if we start with that premise and understanding that, you know, renewable energy is very important for our global efforts for combating climate change, that it's going to help us reduce our reliance on fossil fuel and protect our globe, then we can then work together to protect the larger amount of land through conservation. And so I have the utilities companies and the renewable energy companies all endorsing this effort alongside, you know, your organizations, the veterans groups, tribes, the environmentalists, the conservationists, and we have private industry aching to come in with the outdoor tourism opportunities. It's good. It's going to be great for the economy. I mean, REI just opened up nearby in the Coachella Valley, and they're endorsing and obviously pushing for this national monument designation. So it's going to expand our tourism industry. It's going to honor the leadership of tribes in preserving their sacred sites, which has spiritual significance and for cultural preservation. It's going to help protect some animals and plants that are on the protection list. And it's going to allow for even more growth in the renewable energy space within the boundaries of the DRECP.
Well, it's an incredible project, and we're so grateful as Vet Voice Foundation to be in support of the community groups, the tribal leadership, all of the folks that you've mentioned who have come together and really worked hard over many years to make this dream a reality. So, you know, we submitted a letter to the White House last week or the week prior from 500 local veterans and general officers, national security leaders, all in support of it. So we're just so thrilled and grateful to have your leadership and on this topic in particular, but across the space for veterans and military families. And just want to say thanks.
Well, Janessa, you know, I personally invite you and all of the veterans within Vet Voice to organize a trip. Once this is designated, we can celebrate together and we can go out and hike together. And if folks are interested in camping, I'm game. So let's make it work.
You got a deal. That sounds great. I'm sure
right.
we'd have a bunch of folks who'd be interested. Well, I know you're extremely busy. I want to say thank you again for taking your time out of your day. If folks want to learn more, they can go to vvfnd.org. That's Vet Voice Foundation's website to sign up to be included in more updates and efforts to protect public lands in California and across the country. Thank you again.